Hi there, this is Mama E again, coming to you with some relevant life questions. We get questions on our website, and basically we're just talking about that everyday stuff that causes us concerns, the things that cause us to question, wonder what I would do in this situation. Well, for those of you who don't know Mama E, I'm just everybody's mom. And I try to bring some of those common sense answers to the questions that trouble you. Let me get right to one of the questions that came in. And this one is from a father. And it's pretty extensive, so I'll just read parts of it. But it says, my weaker but prettier half, and I won't call the wife's name, and I have a wonderful daughter named Blank, who is at the tender age of 8. She's already making her mark on the world. My fear is a lot of her peers don't seem to understand what a good woman is put on this earth to do. Not sure that her peers are lots of others of us, but let's see what you have to say. For instance, her friend Blank recently was invited to have supper with us. She told us while eating, I want to be a race car driver someday. Well, the father goes on to say that he would suggest to this young girl, who I'm assuming is his daughter's age, that she should just marry a good man who is a race car driver. Well, okay, but I'm of the opinion that all of us have our own dreams. And I think that our gifts and talents were given to us by God, and He expected us to use them. So I'm not real sure that it's good advice that we tell another human being that they should rely on someone that they marry to fulfill their dreams. Okay, just my thought. In any event, the father goes on to say, I believe it's important for my daughter to learn early what her God-given tendencies truly are. And then he quotes from a passage in Exodus that says, their daughters go a-whoring after their gods, and make thy sons go a-whoring after their gods. Well, all right, I understand where you're going, and I can perhaps understand as a parent your concern that your daughter will grow up to be the kind of woman that you dream of her becoming. However, it is my thought that children ought to be allowed to be children. Now, it's just my thought that at 8, there are things that 8-year-olds ought to be thinking about and ought not be thinking about. There is plenty of time to discuss whatever your household belief is about what a good woman is. That's a whole nother show. But whatever your belief is, that's fine. But please understand that since we're quoting scripture, there is a scripture that says, when I was a child, I thought as a child. And when I became a man, I put away childish things. That suggests to me that childhood must be important to the God that you quote. I would just venture to say that at 8, perhaps teaching her about biblical principles and how to grow up to be honest and trustworthy and have integrity, those kind of character traits that all of us ought to learn, that's a great thing to teach an 8-year-old. But to teach her how to be a good wife, I don't know. I might suggest that there is a time for everything. In fact, that's another scripture that says, for everything there is a season and there is a time for everything under the sun. So then, Dad, why don't we look at what's the best time to teach an 8-year-old about being a good wife? Spend some time with her now, being a great dad. She will find out what a good husband looks like by the model that you give to her. That would be my recommendation. I don't know that she's really ready for that serious stuff about marriage. There are lots of us at 18, 20, and 30 who don't have all of those answers yet. I hope I've given you something else to at least think about. Again, just realize that if a child is a child, we need to allow them the time and the opportunity to be a child. And when it's time to grow up, there'll be plenty of time for grown-up issues. This is Mama E. We'll talk again next time.